Hi friends, it's Shari and welcome back to my channel. So it has been a few weeks, maybe more than a few weeks since I've been here. Things have been pretty busy. I went to an event this past weekend in Columbus, Ohio, the Simon Says Stamp Create event, and I was there representing Lawn Fawn, and I spent 2 whole days crafting with people and making some make and take cards, and it was a lot of fun. I actually had some ladies come by and tell me they love my Flosstube channel, which was awesome. I love when the two crafts overlap a little bit. So if that was one of you, please leave me a comment so I can connect names and faces, because I saw so many people this weekend, but it was a lot of fun. So leading up to that, I needed to get a lot of work done so I could be gone for a whole weekend because we have a new release that comes out this week. So that's why I've been busy. Too busy for a floss tube, but here I am today. So I made myself a list, so hopefully I don't forget about things. We're going to talk about the Botanical Bee Sal. Week 3 has started. I am well into week 3 and probably will move on to week 4. A lot of you have been stitching. It's been great seeing all those bees on Instagram. Thank you so much for tagging me so I can see your progress and share, and Kathy can see that, which I know she loves. And I think that a lot of you are going to finish up before week 4. I wasn't sure if everyone stitches as fast as me, but you guys have been busy with the bees. So I'll show you my progress on that today. The other thing I wanted to mention is another stitch along with Kathy of Hands On Design, and I'm only mentioning it because she mentioned it in her last floss tube, which is the Summer Folk. So I am going to help by heading that one up. I don't have anything to share just yet because I'm waiting for Kathy to share all her images and make sure that shops have the information, and then I will share some more information on that. So stay tuned for that here on YouTube. Also on Instagram. I'm on Instagram a lot more than I'm on YouTube, and it's a great place for me to post things. And I will try really hard to remember to post it in Kathy's Hands On Design stitching group on Facebook, which I'll link below. The other thing I wanted to mention is, since we were here last, I know in a previous video I mentioned that I design little stitching patterns for the embroidery hoop die that Lawn Fawn has, and I think since we were here last I have 2 new ones. So this is the Bitty Birdie, and then this is Snail Mail, so a little bird, which you can make in blue or any color you like, and then of course the cute little snail. The other thing I wanted to mention is our new release has a new die, which this is going to fall when I pick this up because it's not really on a backer card because mine are cut apart. But instead of always having a hoop, right? Maybe we don't always want a hoop. This new die will cut a scallop frame, so you can have a frame around your stitch piece, or it will also cut a window so you could layer it behind on your card. So I'm excited about that. That was an idea I had and I pitched it to Kelly and they made it happen. So I'm really excited about that, and we will share more about that die in the next week or so. So those are all those things. So I'm going to flip to my desktop and we will take a closer look at some whips and some finishes and a little bit of haul and get going. Okay, let's talk stitchy kindness and then haul. So I did get one fun thing in the mail from my friend Nicole. I think she shared this on her floss tube before. I saw this on another floss tube and I was like, what is this? I love it. It's pumpkins, it's Hands On Design, it's amazing. And then Nicole, because she's amazing, went and asked Kathy what it was and found the last kit available. So I forget, oh, Silver Needle. I was going to say, I forget where she bought it from, but she got it from the Silver Needle. I think this will come out in the future, but she is so sweet and she sent this to me for my birthday, and it has the chart in it, which I'm excited to stitch because I love fall and I love pumpkins and I love the little hexagons. It has all the instructions for finishing I believe that's what this is. Yes, so I'm not going to pull that out. So it's got finishing instructions. There's some really fun jelly beans. That's fun. It's got the hexagons needed, a needle, the thread, a really fun little floss card to put the thread on. It's got the felt, which is what you do the hexagons on to make the little pillow. And I actually just noticed there's some little embroidery on the felt, so that will be fun. This will be a different project for me, so I'm kind of excited but also nervous, but I think it's so cute. It has the fabric to stitch on, the interfacing, the fabric for the back, and this tea towel, which I'm not exactly sure because I haven't read all the directions, but I'm going to guess this is to help you iron on your interfacing. I do think it's funny that has this cute little cowgirl on it. But so I got that in the mail and I'm excited for that. I just wish I had more hours in my day to stitch things. I'm sure all of you can relate, but I'll probably put this away just for a little bit because I'm kind of into summer patriotic stuff right now, and then I'll pull this out when I am ready for fall. Now to some haul I got. I don't have a lot. I purchased some more linens from Starlight Stitchery. This one is Color and Cotton Tea Leaves, which was not a color I had picked up before. I thought that was a really nice color. This one is Atomic Ranch Fabrics. This one is called Prairie Land, and it is really pretty for some kind of grungy, very vintagey look. It looks on my screen that I'm looking at over here, it looks a lot more creamy colored. In reality, it has a lot more gray, so I guess we'll see what that looks like when I finish editing my video. And then this is a bigger piece of cottage stone, which I have a small piece that I really like this color, and you're gonna see that I restarted a project on the small piece I had, so I just bought another one in a bigger size since I'm about to use my small one. And let's see, the other thing I got was my Color and Cotton flosses, which I haven't even taken out of the package. I find it interesting that we have a really dark, primitive almost color palette on this side, and then this really light, airy one for this one. But these are some really pretty colors that I am ready to put into my stash. I think that this blue would be really pretty for some patriotic maybe. And then lastly, I just picked up some charts, and sorry about the glare. These were PDFs online. These are from Cherry Hill Stitchery. So there's Old Glory, Stars and Stripes. Let me do this because of the glare. There we go. And then Let Freedom Ring. And they're really small. It says that on 16 count, they're about 2 inches by 2 inches. So they're really tiny. I think they're going to stitch up super fast. I think what I want to do is make some like little pillows to put in a dole bowl. I think they would also look really cute, like 3 across, like a long pillow maybe. Or maybe you could do a 4 square and then figure out something else for the 4th square. They're so small. I think you could do a lot of different things with these. But I picked those up yesterday. And then I also picked up this one that I have had my eye on for a while, and I've had it hearted on Etsy for a while. And this one is called Stand Firm. And I think why I'm drawn to this so much is because last April of last year, my husband and I went to Mammoth Cave for our anniversary, and on the way we stopped by Abraham Lincoln's birthplace, and it was just a really cool trip and experience. And I honestly don't think this would be that hard of a stitch because all these little motifs are so small, but I just really love this pattern. So I went ahead while I was putting things in my cart, and I was like, well, let's go ahead because just go ahead and print it and you'll have it. So I'm looking forward to kind of picking out some fabric for this. Says it's stitched on flax, which is what my Biscornus were stitched on, and I liked that, so I think I might stick with that. I did pick up the little risers from Shanty. Mine are not completely assembled. The top for this one is behind me. So I want to paint them first and distress the edges before I glue this circle on. I did go ahead and glue my little feet on. But I picked these up for like my Biscornus, which I'm going to show you when we get to finishes. That turned out really good. But I just think these are so adorable. I have some small risers that are from like Target, from the dollar section when they have those every now and then, but they're not nearly as cute as these. So I need to finish these up, paint them and everything, and get them out for display. So here is another whip I started, so I guess it's a new start. I took this to Ohio with me, and I, as you can see, did not get very far. This is a Lugana from Bee Stitch-Me. Nope, actually, yes. Hold on, I have the wrong thing in my back. Nope, it is Atomic Ranch Lugana 32 count, and the color is Dune. When I started stitching on this, I kind of ran into what I did when I did my Spring Folk, that this is a pretty tight Lugana. So when I stitched the orange, the brown is 2/2. When I stitched the orange 2/2, to me it just looked very messy. So I pulled it out, and this is actually stitched 1/2, and I think it looks pretty good. And that is how I did my whole Spring Folk. Depending on what it was, I'd stitch 2 or 1. And I did all the letters in 2 and then the images in 1, and that might be what I end up doing with this one. I considered changing my fabric, but after I kind of polled my stitchy friends on a text message, they all liked this fabric, so I guess that's what I'll stick with. I can always stitch it again. I did actually find a plate that looks like this one, but it's bigger than this. So I did buy it on Mercari. I think you could put some fabric or something around it to fill it more, or maybe I'll just use the plate for decoration. We'll see. It's yet to be seen. So that is Gather at the Table on 32 count Dune Lugana by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and I'm using the called for DMC for this one. All right, so here is another whip. This is my homework for the Midnight Garden class with Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design. I am going to the class that is at the Shanty Stitchers in South Dakota. I know she's teaching this class in Asheville, which is where I live, but I am going to be gone that weekend with my friends for a girls' weekend stitching. And when we found out she was teaching almost the same class in South Dakota, we started planning a trip to that class. So that will be fun. I've never been to South Dakota before. And here is my progress on that. So I need to stitch 2 pieces before class. I've got a lot of time. It's in August, but this one's moving along pretty quickly. Let me set them here so you don't see the gray behind it. I just think it's so pretty. I love the colors. The colors are all Weeks Dye Works colors. So we got sent the kit with the fabric, which is platinum, linen, and these are all the Weeks Dye Works colors. So I need to stitch the piece that makes, hold on, the tomato after I finish this one, and then I'll be done with my homework. I'd like to get it done and out of the way so I don't have to think about it the closer we get to August. All right, this one is, we're gonna call it a new start, but it's also a restart. This is Honey of a Tiny Town, and I'll show you my original start, which I had not stitched on in a while, which is this. And I was stitching on Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim, 14 count Ada. I didn't like the white on this. I felt like it didn't pop enough, and I still kept going, and the more I look at it, the less I like it. So I don't hate the fabric, I just don't like this on that fabric. So remember the cottage stone earlier when I said I started something on cottage stone? I started this last night actually, and I think the white looks a lot better, and I really like it on the gray. Let me pull out the colors because I think they're gonna look really pretty on this gray fabric. Let me scoot it over a little bit. I think those blues on that gray are gonna be pretty. This color, I think it's going to be really nice. I'm glad I restarted it. It's a smaller count, so it's going to be like a teenier tiny town, which I think is a lot of fun. Anyway, so this was a restart. I'm more excited about it now to get stitching on it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about whips. So we have the Botanical Bee Stitch-A-Long that I pulled together for my birthday, and we are into week 3, which is this wing and the flowers on this side. And as you can see, I am well on my way to finishing week 3. I did kind of drift up into week 4, which is the flowers at the top, but I was just finishing out when I had colors, and so that is why those are done. So I really don't think all I have left is the 2 flowers down here, a little bit on that bee, and then this at the top, and then some back stitching in the wings. So I think I'm going to finish up probably before I leave town to go to California, which that is week 4. So it would be nice to kind of have it done before I leave. And here are the flosses I'm using. I pulled from Stash, mostly Color and Cotton. I have one Classic Colorworks. I have listed these before, and I will list them again in the description below. I believe called for is Weeks Dye Works, but I feel like these colors are so bright and colorful, and you don't really have to find 2 shades of anything, that it was really easy to pull from Stash. This is stitched on 32 count Juniper Lugana from Fabrics by Stephanie. I really love it. I'm glad when I bought a second piece to do this stitch, I got a nice big piece, so I've got some for some other stitches. And then I have decided I'm going to finish mine on this round by Chantel's. Now mine's not glued together, but this will stand up and it fits perfectly on my tiered tray. I have some little bee decorations there, like some little honey pots or honey dippers. So that is what I'm going to finish mine on. There are some other pieces Chantel has that this will fit on perfectly, and I did buy the finishing rounds from Hands On Design, which I'll use. The small snow globe actually will fit it really well, and the perpetual paddles if you want to do a flat finish. So you could also make just the circle from Hands On Design, just the pre-cut round, just a circle, and make it like the picture is. I do have my little pin. I do need to look into some ribbons. I have a bunch of projects that I haven't fully finished that I need to look at the embellishments for, so maybe I can get that done soon. I need to take a little trip to Hobby Lobby. All right, now let's move on to finishes. I finished all 3 of my Gather Wildflowers rounds. I think last time I was working on, sorry, there's scout hairs on this. I was working on this one and I changed out the kind of tan taupey color to the pink, and I really like how that turned out. So I was working on this one last time. I finished it, and then I finished this one, which was a nice little challenge because those letters are 1 over 1. But I love how it turned out. I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I stuck with that challenge. And now I'm ready for the next in the series to come out, which I will just stitch on the bottom of this piece of fabric. So I'm keeping all this together with it was the called for DMC. This is 32 count platinum, I believe. This is Lugana. I have a bigger piece of this too because I also have this in the same zipper pouch. I know there's a new one of these coming out as well. This uses the same colors as this one, so I'm just keeping them all together. I do need to start on this guy at some point. I like these little small things that are easy to kind of whip out really quickly. Okay, now to my FFO. The Seasonal Biscornus Stitch-A-Long with Nicole Spore. I know I've showed these. They were unfinished before. Now they're all completely finished. I don't have my chart handy. So these are the triple play pillows. This is the summer basket from Hands On Design. I did all the called for DMC except for the pinky color. I changed it to one shade lighter because when I first started stitching these, it wasn't contrasting enough for me. So this one is stitched on 32 count flax. This one is stitched on 36 count flax, and this one is stitched on 40 count flax. So this is my first real linen project. I have started some since then, and my first time ever stitching on 40 and 36. So I took this as just a big challenge to myself. The other thing I did, which if you watched the last Flosstube with my sister and I asked her, do you want to help me dye some fabric before you leave today? I took the other half of my fabric that I stitched these on, so the other half of the flax, and we dyed them with some RIT dye. We dyed them all at the same time, obviously in the same mixture. It was a mixture of country blue and teal. Let me grab those real quick so you can see them. So country blue, well, you can't see the name of that because the sticker's on it, but country blue, not country blue, evening blue. I'm glad I grabbed these. Evening blue. I've been telling everyone the wrong color this whole time when they've asked me this on social media. Evening blue and teal. And we basically started with evening blue, which Stacy said, oh, we should have started with teal. We did evening blue in some water and we kept adding tablespoons of teal, and then we would take a little bit of it and put it on a white plate to really see what the color was until we got as close to this floss color as we thought we could. And I didn't rinse it with hot water. I didn't want to tone it down at all because I really like that deep color that we had. Yeah, I love the way they turned out. They're so fun. They aren't quite as graduated as I had thought in my mind for stacking purposes. Let me see if I can. But they actually they don't look too bad. Now these two stacked together are pretty good. And for the motif on the corners, it's just one I charted myself, just a little star. I was trying to figure out how to put these on the corners, and I really just decided I wanted the bottom to be more plain and let that dark fabric kind of be the contrast and just add a tiny little star in the corner. So all the corners are exactly the same. Yeah, I think they're so cute. So if I do this again, which I do want to stitch for sure the autumn basket, I think what I would do is stitch them all in the same count and just figure out a way to modify the chart. Like this one, for instance, you could have just done 4 stars and gotten a little bitty guy to sit on top. But this was a lot of fun. I'm really pleased with how they turned out. I really love my dyed fabric so much. I'm glad I did that. I am glad that I tested myself with 40. Stitching it wasn't too bad. Stitching on the dark was a challenge, so I had to pull out my magnifier, and I really had to pull out my magnifier to put it together. So this is the one that made me the most nervous, but it turned out so cute and little. So yeah, there is my Seasonal Biscornus, which is why I have my little risers to sit them on, hopefully, and display them. I think they're kind of fun to display turned like this. Yeah. So there are all my finishes for this Flosstube. Okay, let's talk giveaways. Last Flosstube, I did a giveaway for an autumn prize pack, which was the Autumn Love pattern by Lori Holt. It came with some Ada that I threw in there, a floss pack with all the colors, and a really fun floss keeper that matched. And the winner for that was LB Stitchin', and I will put your comment over here. If that is you, please email me at the email below so I can get that sent out to you. I have 2 giveaways today. Today's theme is Halloween. The first of the 2 is 2 patterns. This is Flying Lessons by Silver Creek Samplers, and then this is an exclusive for the Friend Stitch Halloween online retreat that was last year. It also comes with that little button that's there in the chart. I am going to throw in some 14 count Ada. The color on this is called Raw Linen, and it is a really big piece. I'm not going to unfold it. It is 21 by 36, so you can stitch both of these. I picked one that I think works with both of these designs, and probably some more things. And also that pack will come with this really fun floss style from Chantel's 141 Design Company. So that is the first one, and to be considered for this, for all the giveaways, please be 18. Please live in the US because shipping is unfortunately very expensive. For this one, let's use the keyword Moonlight because this is Moonlight Magic. So keyword Moonlight for this Halloween prize pack. And then my other Halloween prize pack is Toil and Trouble chart by Primrose Cottage Stitches, as well as this little chart called Witchy Way. I'm also going to include all of the DMC that you need for both of the charts. I don't have that right here, but that will also be included. So 2 charts, DMC to stitch both charts, and then this really big piece of Ada. This one is called Gray, I believe. No, Driftwood. I think this one's really pretty. I've stitched some stuff on this color too. I just think it has a really nice gray Halloween-y look. So the second prize pack is going to be Toil and Trouble, Witchy Way, all the DMC needed, and Driftwood. So the keyword for this one will be, let's go with trouble. So trouble for these 2 charts, the Ada and the DMC, and Moonlight for the other 2 charts, the Ada and the floss style. So just leave that word somewhere in your comment. Be creative if you want, or just leave it in there. So I will, let's see, I'm looking at my calendar. Today is the 16th. So we'll give it, I'm going to be out of town at the end of the month, so we will give it till June 1st. So leave a comment by June 1st. And all right, so that's all I have for today. I thought I'd share my little Biscornus again. They're so cute on the little riser. I think the way I want to display them, by the way, I think they're really fun if you turn them because of that blue to where it's kind of alternating. But I think that I will probably do the big one and the little baby one, and then maybe like angle this one to the side. I need to look for some fun pins for the top. So those are those. I also thought that I would give you a little sneaky peek, not at the chart for this summer folk, but the colors. Kathy told me what the colors were, so I ran out and got them. And isn't this the most beautiful like summer rainbow? I've put them in my little Binsey bag, and they are all ready for when that chart comes. I also already have the fabric because it's the same piece that we stitch Spring Folk on, which is Driftwood by Fabrics by Stephanie. You can fit all 4 seasons on one piece. I was looking for my list. I think that's that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me as always. Again, if you were at the Simon Says Stamp Create event, please leave me a comment so I can kind of put names with faces, because I saw so many people and I'm really bad about remembering names. But if you said hi and you told me you love my Flosstube or whatever, please leave me a comment. Please leave comments for the giveaways with those 2 keywords. And as always, thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And Scout, did you want to say hi? She came in the room. What you doing? I guess that's a no. So as always, thank you so much for the time you take out of your day to spend with me. I really appreciate it. I love reading all your comments. Please like and subscribe. I love when my subscriber number goes up a little bit. It makes me feel like someone's actually watching the stuff that I put out there. And I also love reading all your comments. So thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing stitchy day. Bye.